when people lie or try to bring you down? What intention is it for them? Is it intentionally just to destroy you? Everybody defines success in a different way. I am just driving here and I'm in a lot of traffic. As I'm driving, I'm listening to Baron Baptiste. Baron Baptiste was my very first yoga teacher. I took a few yoga teacher trainings with him, and then I took another retreat with him, and I highly regard him. And over the years, of course, I followed him. He has a podcast, so I've been listening to that. I'm listening to a podcast, and he's doing it with another guy named David, and they're talking about how when people lie or try to bring you down, what intention is it for them? Are they doing it to protect you, or is it intentionally just to destroy you? It just makes me reflect on a few different things. My ethos has always been to support and encourage and motivate and empower others around me, and whether that's for business, for surfing, for yoga, for mindset, for health. And I also then have always been very influenced and impacted in a positive way by others. I myself never use the word that I get jealous of people. I always admire and am inspired and aspire to be like others around me, like whether it's for surfing or business or kind of like health. Ooh. And something I thought that was absolutely incredible, which Baron shared, is that everybody defines success in a different way. And success doesn't necessarily or ever or should be defined if you are famous or if you have wealth or status. He goes on to explain how he defines successful as, are the people around him, do they have light in their eyes? Are they, in a sense, being positively impacted and doing positive things around them and uplifting others? I reflect on that for myself, and I can also say that I don't define success by wealth or by status or by having certain material things. For me, being truly successful is having inner peace. And that's something that I really worked on, and I am continuing to work on for this year, is having that inner peace and contentment and acceptance. And coming back this time 10 years later to Hawaii, I am a very different person who I was in comparison to 10 years ago when I was living here, when I was performing as a full-time aerialist acrobat and dancer, and I was in certain relationships. I had my first marriage back in the day, and coming back now 10 years later, and everything that I've gone through professionally, romantically, and just overall life experience, I'm just at a very different place. And when I think about like my purpose and intention being here is to enjoy the waves and to meet people and just to really enjoy my life. But I have a few different projects unrolling for this year in a different industry that's going to be new for me. Obviously, I'm going to continue creating content here. Thinking around about the people around me, I'm surrounded by such amazing friends and people who are in my circle right now. A lot of very experienced, amazing big wave surfers. And when it comes to the professional world, I'm connected to and I follow certain different content creators who are quite successful. I would hope to think that my audience, whether it be on Instagram, Facebook, or here in YouTube, that you are also positively affected and impacted by the content that I put out. And I hope that the way that I am empowered and inspired and aspire to other content creators and other people in my life, that you also are consuming my content as well. And I think that's something really to focus on for the new year, is to be living from that place of intention and purpose and impact in a positive way. Okay, I'm driving again. You can probably hear my gun. I'm driving to Sunset. As I drive and there's always lots of traffic, I'm listening to podcasts, and I'm listening to Oprah's Super Soul Sunday Talks, and she was talking with, it was another woman, I'll have to list her name, Taja or something, and she said that fear transforms you, that she never wants to do anything unless there's fear, because fear actually transforms you. And I relate that back to me, and maybe you can think about the things in your life that scare you, because actually it's that fear that actually can transform you. If I think back to some of the things of last year, especially the relationship that I was previously in, I was always living in a state of fear. On the other side, coming out of that relationship, that fear allowed me to overcome the fear and to see my limitations and to ultimately then inevitably transform me. The fear teaches us. The fear is there to guide us to overcome that fear so you can actually then embody the best version of yourself. And that's exactly what happened. And it's the same with surfing. Surfing is a little bit scary with these big waves, but if you can overcome this fear, then amazing things can happen. Okay. Ooh. I'm driving. I have some thoughts. I always get these driving thoughts. I have been in contact with somebody about toe-in surfing. Over here, in comparison to the price that you would pay in Bali, it is substantially, like almost 5 times, like even more, 5 more times the price that it is in Bali. And then I was kind of thinking, well, I still am looking for different gun boards to buy, and then I'm still paying because I'm going to extend my stay here until the end of the month. Then I thought, well, I have to choose. Do I either want to like not pay for a toe-in session or a couple of sessions, a package, and just use my money elsewhere, or should I spend the money there? And that was that first thought about like wealth and money and where I'm putting and investing and spending my money. Since I became friends with like Sylvia and I saw other people doing like big wave surfing, I guess I never really knew any big wave surfers and I never really looked at the big waves properly. Even up until maybe 6 months ago, I was like, yeah, I don't want to surf like those really giant waves. Like I'm happy to surf just like really big waves. However, now being here and yesterday out at the outer reefs, I was at Phantoms. To me, that was maybe 20 foot plus waves. That was really big. However, there's this part of me that was like, I want to take off and try and get one of these waves. If you've been following any of my Instagram account, I explained the story there that I took the first wave, I paddled for the first wave. It was a giant monster bomb. I didn't make it. I turned around and of course then I had a 20 foot 2 sets on my head and I snapped Sylvia, my friend's 9/8 board. And that was almost 21 wide and almost 4 thick. So that's a big board, and you need those kinds of boards for that kind of surfing, for that kind of wave. I was like, I want to try and get one of these waves. For me, it's unlocked something that is such a challenge for me, and it's so thrilling for me with that wave that I saw, and I thought, oh, I think, and intuitively, I'm in the right spot. Let me turn around and try. Obviously, I didn't make it on. Leading to this is all going to connect. For me now, when I think of if I start and I invest some money into a toe-in session, I am curious if that is going to unlock a new realm of adventure and excitement for me when it comes to surfing. And then I was like, well, I can either choose just to go on bigger waves, or I can either choose to start maybe in the future if I do put some money into trying toe-in surfing, because it's a lot more expensive. And I was like, well, I have to choose one or the other. But then I caught myself with my mindset. I was like, I don't have to choose. I can have it all. To switch from like a lack mindset of like, oh, I have to choose and like feel like I'm limited. If I just switch that thought, that energy, that vibration, that frequency around that narrative, in actuality, I can have it all. An abundance mindset. I can have it all. There's no limit. Abundance mindset. Everything can come to you in abundance. Now, I don't know how all of those thoughts will unfold, but that was my mindset, and that is powerful and exciting. Okay, here we go. I'm listening to a podcast with Baron Baptiste, and he's sharing around having access to your higher guidance, to your intuitive guide, your inner voice. When it comes to in the last week, what's come up for me, what I recognize and what I have recognized and then said, okay, I get to switch that. Let's have a look. Why are certain thoughts coming up? I'm having issues of attachment or fear or worry. And I think, no, I don't need to think like that. I get to choose to change that vibration of that thought that I'm having. But it's by default that humans start to get attached to an idea, a place, a job, a person, and then we start to worry that it's not going to work out or it won't last. If you can recognize that you're having that and actually instead switch the vibration, create a new narrative around like, I don't get to be scared. What is going to happen will happen, and what is meant to be will be. I need to trust that. I just knew, and I had high intentions that this year was going to be a good year for me, and it is. So far it's like unfolding, and it just keeps getting better, and I'm so grateful. My experiences with my friends here, and with surfing, and with the new projects that I have unfolding in Bali, it's all very exciting. I don't want to let other people's opinions or judgments or concerns, I value those and I will listen to those and receive those with love. However, at the end of the day, I wish to be the one who is creating my own reality. I feel like my own intuitive guide, my own higher divine voice, the source within, knows what's best. And I just know that maybe sometimes my ideas are crazy and they might not make sense to anybody else. However, it makes sense to me and feels good for me in my heart. And I just want to feel that love and happiness and flow in my life and for this year moving forward. And it's what I'm feeling, and it's what I'm going to continue to follow through with.